Hello everyone, it's me, Lippy Rippy. I just want to welcome you to this video, which is part 1 of a lengthy discussion that I had between myself, BL, Smurf, Ivory and Zeticon in regards to the 0.5.0 patch notes for Avatar Pandora Rising. This was kind of like a last minute thing we organised, so there wasn't really a whole lot of planning into it. We kind of just jumped in and winged it. And yeah. It's a good hour and a half watch. That's why it's in 2 parts. Pretty much we just went through all the patch notes and gave our thoughts and opinions on each of the changes. We were on a time restriction though, so towards the end, or about halfway through towards the end, we start glossing over things and skipping things as well. And because it's not really that planned too well, I feel like we could have gotten another Na'vi player in, or just more opinions from Ivory, but we were on a time crunch, and yeah, we'll definitely do things a lot more professionally next time another patch rolls around. But I will be putting out a summarized video within by the end of this week, hopefully, going over all the changes in the patch notes, the main ones, what were good, what were bad, what was not needed, etc. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be a lot shorter than this one. Anyway, enjoy the in-depth discussion that I had with these beautiful humans. Enjoy. And we're here with some great minds and players to discuss the patch notes. We are joined by the Tyrant of Server 1, Tyrant Man Smurf. Hello, Smurf.
Hello, hello.
We're joined by the Protector of the Fruits, Ivory, our resident Na'vi.
Wait, what?
And we are joined by some random dude who I think sends hate mail to the devs on a constant basis and has no clue what he's talking about. Hello, Zeticon. He's dead. Alright, cool, brilliant. So we're going to just breeze through these patch notes and give our amazing opinions on them. This is release number 0.5.0. It changed a whole lot of troops and commanders and is going to add new ones. And yeah, we'll start with the overview here. So it's added a lot of new troops, 2 new troops for Na'vi and RTA. They've added 2 new commanders, Minari and fucking these pronunciations are atrocious, man.
Nari and Wasan.
And Wasel.
Oh god.
And they've added some more subclasses. They've also changed a lot of the rarity for existing commanders and cosmetically replaced other commanders because I guess they're going to be in Avatar 2, so they've got to re-release them later. Lots of troop balance, changes to commander decks, massive changes to sacred sites, new PvP events that only Osiris will win. They've changed patrol and outposts, and they've changed trials to make them better or something. I think the game is still down. Am I correct?
I think so.
The game is still down, so we can't test any of these changes yet. So this is going to be purely
Conjecture.
Yes.
And speculation.
Theoretical.
Alright, I'm going to stop repeating what you guys are saying and we're going to get straight into it. New troops! Stingback Cooler and Sky Archer. What do we think? How do we think these are going to go?
It's interesting that, like, there's so many aerial units being changed, buffed, or added this patch. It seems like the Na'vi's getting a lot more long-range options. Which, like, RTA already had missile battery, but it looks like Na'vi are basically getting their own, like, missile battery, except in the air.
Well, we had to see the true range of this Sky Archer, but we can assume it's going to be similar-ish.
I think it's going to be something similar to a Scorpion.
Maybe. We also don't know the cost of this thing either. Maybe it would cost 1 energy and then it'll just be spammed. We don't know. But Stingback Cooler. It depends how many it spawns, eh? As to whether this thing will be...
It also says that it's only when she attacks.
True.
So it's going to be really dependent on how they use her. Because if they just drop her down and expect her to do amazing, it's probably not going to work. Because as soon as something starts hitting her, it's going to end up dying out pretty soon.
I mean, if it spawns like 5 at a time, and depending on her attack rate too, it could be excessively broken. But we're gonna have to hope that the devs thought this through.
Yeah, I mean, Stingbats die in one hit to the turret, so I feel like if it's just one Stingbat at a time, it wouldn't be very threatening.
Maybe
right?
2. I'd think at least
Just,
minimum 2, surely.
It's endless.
She has an endless supply. It's not going to be like just a bunch of them at once. So even if it is like one at a time, like if it's at the rate of the Viper Wolf Den, it's still going to be annoying to deal with.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how I see it going. I see it like a moving Viper Wolf Den. So you just gotta like save like a missile or an Ikron for it and take it out quickly, or, you know.
So what happens if you kill this, like the collar? So
Then the bats will stay.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
be like any
okay.
other spawner. Whatever's on the field will stay,
You
but
killed it,
she
yeah.
will just be dead and then won't spawn in anything else.
I
I
see
would
one
assume.
simple solution to that: flame boss.
Yes. Wait.
what?
Yeah, when they actually come
Yeah.
out, I'll do proper videos on them. But until then, we can only say, "Hey, this could be." I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on
Annoying.
to the RTA troops now. The Bulldog in the bombing run. The Bulldog is just a tank
I
with a
swear
fucking
to
mortar, by the looks of things.
Oh, that doesn't look like a mortar, buddy. That looks like cannons.
Yeah, well, look, similar. It's just a mobile missile battery. This, yes.
Yeah, that's what I take from it.
So we got a mobile bunker a while ago, and now we've got a mobile missile battery.
What I don't understand about it though is it says it's a quad-barreled front-line armored vehicle with heavy firepower mounted on a maneuverable tank jet. Blah blah blah. Maintain a defensive perimeter beyond its minimum range to keep its massive cannons blasting away.
So
So it's evidently not a frontline tank. If it has a minimum range.
not intended. Yes, that or it's supposed to be able to. It's going to be a tank, and you just have to support it. So that maybe.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't call it tank
that's what you do
chassis
with
though,
with the
surely.
Helldozer. Well, I think what it'll do is like if you have that in the front and march it up to like a tower, it's gonna tank the tower while all of your other troops are gonna sit like beside or just in front of the actual tank and just kill whatever comes out.
Yeah, I think that would be
That's
the
the
way to
big
use
thing.
this.
Because otherwise, I don't understand why it would be a frontline tank with long range weapons. Because that makes no sense. But it looks really cool and it sounds really neat, so I want to use it.
Alrighty, bombing run. It's multiple missiles, and I guess it's just supposed to counter sentinels.
Very specifically Sentinels.
Well, I think it says that because the overlapping AoE causes the
Yeah.
sentinels who have the one-hit block shield to lose their shield and then die to it. So that's the point that they're making by saying.
My
So they can actually kill all of it.
Yeah.
because sentinels are quite underrated, mainly because they're not used. They're not buffed by anyone that anyone would care about at the moment.
Well, it's not just that. It's also that like we aren't getting shards for like 2 or 3 of the new units that have come out, and we have no way to accumulate their levels, so they're just like 5 to 10 levels behind everything.
My thing is, like, let's say that sentinels get added to a commander that gets used frequently, right? Would an unbuffed bombing run be enough to still kill them? Or
Well, we have no idea what the damage is going to be like, so
we'll find that out
because if it's
eventually.
cheap cost, it's probably going to be like concussion blast level damage. But if it's expensive, it might even be missile level.
It could be good against Garden Grove, right? Like where Navis tend to stack multiple plants in one lane.
Yeah.
If this hits like everything at once, could be an effective counter.
Who stacks plants in one lane?
You'd be
I
surprised.
don't know, man.
Only losers do that.
Only losers use fucking plants. Absolute twats. Anyway, moving on.
Hey.
Excuse you.
New commanders we have. Minari, Good old Saberhog Safeguard.
Who the fuck farms Saberhog anymore?
And she provides bonuses to Blast Bulb, Rip, War Beast, and Aerostorm, as
This is
well as
really good
Stingbat
deck.
Cooler, Puffball Tree, and Forest Banshee. Just like Ivory said, who farms that resource? What is that equal to on RTA? That's
Don't even know.
Bluestone?
Saberhog is Geodes.
Geodes, okay, so yeah, who
Oh.
farms that anymore?
Yeah.
We get
It's
those
a really good deck, but
We-
who's gonna use it? Nobody.
we get those
Well-
resources from events.
Yep.
So
And Vokan is back as a Na'vi nemesis.
Oh yes.
OG Vokan.
Fuck yes.
Super happy about that, actually. Super happy.
Yeah.
That is a necessary thing, considering that there are some traitorous
I'm on
Na'vi.
an all Navi server.
Yes. So that will be useful for Na'vi against other
Thing is,
Na'vi.
it has the 2 new troops, so they're gonna be really low
Yes.
for a long
He
time.
buffs Stingbat, Cooler, Paradise Needler, Archers, Sky Archer, War Beast, and Puffball.
Ooh.
That's a pretty decent deck. It's got his tank.
Yeah.
It's got its.
It's a really heavy deck, actually.
There's no more 2 crew though. They took that.
Well,
out.
you don't need it because you have a Puffball. So
Actually, no, the 2 crew gets replaced by Warbeast. They're the most similar in
Yeah.
stats.
that's a pretty solid
It's
deck.
already-
We get to see
Yeah, it's
how much
always
it'll
had
cost.
the 2, I think, plants.
Yeah.
Um,
2 plants and archers, didn't he?
I
I don't
can't
remember
remember. They should
Archers.
really just say what they had before. Because I
don't
can't
know.
remember at
I don't
all.
think maybe they were.
Well, no,
archers.
because he's so Vulcan, the one that you guys currently have is leveled, is being
Yeah.
renamed and reused somewhere else. So you're gonna keep the levels and stuff there, but he's gonna come out again with as a new character. So you won't have any shards for him when he comes out.
You'll be forced to
Oh,
play the events.
So this is the new one.
Yes,
new
this
Yeah,
is
this
the
is
quote
one,
new.
The new one,
This is-
not
this
the
is
not the
new.
replacement, the new one.
Okay.
they turned Vokan into something else, and now they're selling you Vokan again.
Why
It's-
can't they
let-
make a new name? Jeez.
Because they're Apple.
the last new commander, Averin, the Challenger. This is the new
This is awesome.
the new tag. So
Yeah.
she will be, I'm assuming she will be used at sacred sites. She provides bonuses to Stingbats, Coolers, Hunting Party Viper Wolves, the Titanothea, which got a buff for some reason,
Yes.
Sentinels,
Woo!
and Arrowstorm.
It's gonna be really scary.
That's fucking
Yeah.
scary as. Holy moly.
Well, let's see. Actually, and you know what? It's not crazy scary because it's got 2 high cost units in there, but
3.
and no Hunting Party and Titan. Sentinels is 7. It's not that high.
Okay.
They cost
Um,
7?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, never mind.
But the Aerostorm, like it depends on what the other challengers is for RDA, and then when you're fighting Quaritch, because those are the 2 most common ones you're gonna see on Sacred Site or Vulcan. So versus Vulcan, like it seems okay. It's not actually like it's only great for like the Aerostorm's good for Stingbat Collar, you know. Sentinels are okay to like block out the Puffball tree or take out the Needler. The Viper Wolves too. The Hunting Party will find its place, but it doesn't seem overly powerful for something like Vulcan.
So moving on to RDA commanders, the new Wasel,
Ew.
the scientist,
Oh,
because
that's
we
so cool.
because she's cool,
This looks
but we didn't
nice.
need any more fucking Atlas Beetle commanders. Anyway, she's
Well,
a safeguard for
I think they
Atlas.
changed Spellman, so
Oh,
we
did
might
they?
actually need
Okay,
it now.
I must have glanced over that one, but anyway, she buffs. Here we go, boys and girl. Missile
boy.
strike, Ripper, concussion,
Oof.
Bulldog, AMP, and Shredder. What
Oof.
a fucking costly deck that is, but that's gonna be bloody
It's
huge.
beautiful.
It's so freaking tough.
That
so
is
good.
mental. I do
Oh
see
my
her
God,
being
So good.
fought over quite heavily because
It's like
Yeah.
Shredder.
What about
Yeah,
Shredder?
you guys think Shredder is good? Like she buffs Shredder.
Oh, Shredder's always been good. It just had a couple of
it
bugs.
just didn't
and so
work.
it's great. It's so
Oh.
strong. Like nobody uses it, but it's so strong.
It's fun. It's fun
What
to
do you
use.
use
as
it
well.
Like, what do you counter it with?
So if you use Shredder plus gas, you can actually push a Titan back while damaging it. You push back a champion. You can push back Dire Horse. Like it's hilarious. Like the different tricks it can do.
Block those?
Like you have to line it up perfectly. And it will legitimately block them from because they can't move through the unit,
sideways,
so they can't hit the tower behind it until it's out of the way. And if you line it up perfectly, they just stay in the same spot together and no move.
That's stupid.
Like it's hilarious. I think I did it to Draenor like once or twice, and he was just sitting there like, "What the hell is my Titan doing?"
It's
It
like
was
how
so funny.
Oh no.
it's like how you can just make the horse do constant 360s as well if you place your bunkers right.
Yep.
Like
Wait, what?
yeah, you can.
Oh,
You have to
we'll find out later.
leave.
Oh god.
Yeah, you'll have to leave, like, I think it's 3 to 4 tiles, and if you place the bunker or infantry or a building perfectly when they're halfway between the tower and where the bunker would be, it will just constantly spin around because it won't know which target
my
it wants
God.
to go for.
Really?
It's the Ripper issue I showed you before,
Yeah,
Oh yeah, right.
it's
where it just spins in place.
it's just dumb because
That's fine.
pathing. Don't worry, they fixed pathing issues though. Don't
Oh
worry.
yeah, I saw that.
sure. There's gonna be
Anyway,
so many
we'll get
more
onto
now.
that later. The next one, the Nemesis, Du Bois, has arrived. RTA Nemesis. So this
French.
will be good
It
for
sounds
like.
French, Dubois.
Yeah.
So what does it give? Bombing run, shredder, RPG squad, bulldog, incinerator, and gas grenade. That's all right.
I think it's
Yeah.
really lackluster.
Yeah, nothing really sticks out to me as like, yeah, I'd use this over anyone.
Like it's got what a shredder and an incinerator for anti-infantry, and most RD8X don't actually use a lot of infantry. Then you've got the gas grenade, which is great for taking out mechs with like an RPG squad, but the moment that gas has got like it's I guess we just have to wait for the bulldog, but it doesn't really like
Unless the bulldog
say, hey,
obliterates
use
those.
this.
This honestly looks more defensive than offensive.
well yeah. Well, we
But maybe-
still have to wait for the bulldog, right? Like,
Yes, we do.
Maybe we should invest in him so we can attack Osiris as well.
Well, he will just use it as well. It's not going to change anything.
I mean, it
He
does sound like
already-
a very offensive deck. You know, having the RPG squad follow the shredder. You have an incinerator that's the same range as the RPG squad. Gas, which is gas. The bombing run, which we don't know anything about, and the bulldog we don't know anything about. So it looks like it's very like offensive, like push heavy. But I mean, it also costs a lot.
I'm still tilted by the state of gas grenade. Like, they fixed the bug, but they also nerfed it in addition to fixing the bug, and now it's just like.
No, they gave it more
useless.
damage.
Well, we will get onto that shortly.
Right, but I started with the last patch. This patch, yeah, they added some damage.
We'll get onto that a bit later. But for now, we'll talk about the last edition, the Freeman Challenger. Sorry, because they can't be the same, they have to call it unobtainium sites and confuse me. So he buffs stuff at sacred sites and provides bonuses to the bulldog, the once called troopers, now rifled troopers, concussion blast, links, the motorized picnic table,
Shut
the
up,
field
you!
barracks, and the RPG infantry. What do we think of this?
I think it's amazing.
I
I'm not
think,
gonna lie.
looks good.
thank God that they've given the links actual
Yeah.
utility in his deck, because
Like, yeah, go ahead.
that's why the links wasn't being used, because the commanders that had them didn't buff infantry. So it's like, what the fuck is the point of using it?
The thing I really like about his though, so rifle troopers plus a lynx unbuffed is terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Like it obliterates any single unit really, really quick. So it was amazing pushing power for the last update, and then they're giving it an RPG infantry too. So like when we used to use Williams, we would lynx plus RPGs, and it would just rush up and knock towers down. And now he's got both of them plus a field barracks. So it's just going to be an infantry swarm. Like it's going to be a
And yes, yep.
With Jake getting Hellswarm, that will be pretty effective against some parts of this deck because it's so infantry focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on where they're going to put that Hellswarm. Because if they put it right next to the spawner, you can go to the other lane and split push using a Lynx rifles, right?
Yeah, but the field barracks is 8 energy. So that like
7 now.
sure, but how much is Hellstorm? Like 6?
I thought it was
I
5.
don't remember. I
I
haven't
thought it
used
was
it.
5.
It's 6.
It is
No,
6?
Yeah,
it's 6.
Okay.
Like, so they
Aerostorm
take-
is 5.
They take a good trade against you, and like then you're just -1 energy.
Yeah, but your barracks is gonna outlast the Hellstorm because Hellstorm only lasts what 12 seconds.
It
And
lasts
its
like
damage doesn't persist. It's not like gas; it doesn't persist.
oh, you mean after?
Doesn't have a damage
yeah,
over
like
time.
Yeah,
after
after
debuff.
it ends.
Yeah, it depends on the levels at play. I feel like 13 seconds is quite a bit when it comes to taking down a field barracks.
I mean, as long as the barracks can withstand it, because like if it withstands, because it has a what, like a lifespan of 30 seconds or 35 seconds.
Mhm.
So, if the Hellstorm isn't dealing a crazy amount of damage on it, I think it'll still be fine after.
Yeah, it
We'll have to see
decays
that.
over 30 seconds. So it's decaying and then it's also taking damage from Hellstorm.
Yeah.
It really, if the barracks dies before the Hellstorm ends, the Hellstorm kills all the troopers that end up coming out.
Yeah.
In which case that would be a pretty bad trade for the RTA.
Well, we'll see when it comes out, I guess.
General changes they're adding here. We'll just gloss over this section. It's pretty much just convenience stuff they're adding and a few extra things. Thank fuck they're switching the alliance hopping shit for Sacred
Yep.
Site. That has
Oh,
been
God.
something that's plagued the game since its release. I don't have to talk about that. That's just a good change. Thank God they're changing that.
Yep.
Yep.
Leaderboards just gives more
Commander
incentive to kill
kill.
people, I guess. And who can
Fuck yeah.
boast over how many like level 2s they've stolen credits from or how much they've farmed their ults? Like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You can now start multiple rallies. This is a great change.
Woo!
Yep. No more
Um,
waiting for another person to come online to start a
Thank
rally.
God,
Mhm.
this is a thing now. Although, it'll just give Smurf more rallies to AFK on. Boats. They're just making it easier for new players. Fair enough. Combat protection status warnings. Is the HUD element. Congratulations. Awesome. Brilliant. Translation. Thank
Yes.
you. I don't want to see any more fucking Filipino shit. I don't have to... Oh my god.
You're in fruits. Half of your alliance.
They don't talk in Filipino in the alliance chat though.
Well, yeah, my alliance has like half like Filipino players, and there will always be like 2 conversations going on, one in English and one in Tagalog.
I think that
Yeah,
carried
that's
over
why we
from
just told them to
UNC
do it in
too,
their own chat.
because when I created that, they were just talking in Filipino, and I'm like, yo, you can't.
Yeah.
Just stop. I can't understand what my own alliance members are saying. Like, please.
It's always the best when you see on global, it's like stuff in Filipino, like Filipino, and then Smurf.
Yeah,
And then
or like
Filipino,
Smurf,
Filipino,
Loopy,
it's like, what are they
Zeticon, and you're
saying?
like, now I have to translate this.
Yeah, I have to go to Google Translate, like
Oh,
copy
gosh.
the entire thing.
Anyway, general changes, pretty good. Convenience things. Economy and progression. They've added some troops to the stores.
Thank you.
Commanders, so they've taken all the troops and the extra commander reinforcements and put them into
Whoa.
chests, which still makes them pay to win, but nonetheless is still a nice thing to just
We can get beast sharks.
have there. That's not what I'm happy about at all.
Yes.
Alliance credit tuning, what are they? Are those the
They're
tokens?
reducing the rate at which you get alliance
Are
credits.
those the orange ones?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I understand. So they're making people not, because you'd have the outpost event roll around and you'd have 100k in 5 minutes. So you could get a
And
lot.
then you didn't even do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and you couldn't buy anything anyway because they just gave you fucking shield. Commander marks. They've reduced the rate at which you earn these because apparently we were earning them too fast. Not that we were really using them anywhere because
Yeah.
progression between base levels is so slow. Once you get up to our level, it's like you don't even use them. So, I mean, I
think
guess
I'm
that's
sitting on
nice.
like 1 mil of each of them,
Yeah, they're
or
just
like
building
maybe
up.
2 mil, because it's useless.
They've also increased the amount of resources required for the... Are those uncommon or common craftables?
Those are uncommons.
Uncommons. So, what were they before? Like 10? 15?
To be honest, I have no freaking idea.
I don't remember
Like,
either because
we've never required the resource because they
No.
give it to us in the
Yeah.
bucket load.
in events.
Yeah.
So this is really only affecting newer players. It's not going to really affect longer standing ones, but oh well. So they're just slowing progression because the rate at which we progressed before is ridiculous. And you
Yep.
can't have that when it gets released, otherwise every player will just be at max level in a day. So they're making it, they're getting it ready for the full release. Outpost events and patrols, it's now daily. The events are now daily. There's no longer ones lasting 3 to 4 days anymore. It's just daily. New leaderboard for PvP supremacy is just going to have Osiris on number 1. It's pretty explanatory. It's a PvP leaderboard. New patrols all the way up to level 80. So is that level 80
Fuck.
patrols or level 80 troops? I assume
Level 80 patrols.
patrols. So
Patrols,
that's
yeah.
gonna be crazy. I guess
That's
they're just
hard.
getting us ready for when we eventually get to that point.
Well, if you look at some of the top players that were like Osiris, before
Yeah.
Cass quit, you know, Jorge, Nets, Dreams, Toothless, they can do the 55s without even batting an eye.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a challenge for them.
So-
So it's probably more meant to having like 100 to 150k commanders.
So the again is just getting us ready for when we eventually get to these points. They're adding in level 45 and 50 outposts, which I didn't actually realize weren't a thing.
What? You've been playing for how long?
Yeah, but I don't have that power level to take them on, so I've never noticed.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Look, okay, just shut up. They're changing the resources you get from them, either
Oh, you
increasing
don't get
or
wolf
reducing.
sprites from OP anymore. That sucks.
Well, they redistributed it to
Stores.
Event, I guess.
The
daily,
stores.
solo, and alliance challenges, and they've removed the collector resources. So like your base collectors that collect like the tea tree oil or whatever,
Yeah.
or like cement and oil and that have been completely removed, and you'll get them elsewhere. And the store, you can purchase them more frequently or something.
Yes.
I don't know. That seemed pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie.
There's there's less motivation to do OPs now because the biggest reason for us to do it before was basically to get sprites and of course also alliance credits. But for me,
Well,
it
I
was
think
more
I
about
think gold
those
won't
sprites.
be like as bad because you're still gonna get the gold from each battle. So, you know, doing a level 40 outpost,
Yeah.
you're still gonna get like 25k from doing it because if you
Mhm.
solo it because you've done all the battles, but
Right.
you just won't get that extra 14k.
Yeah.
They are moving wood sprites and credits to the alliance, to the item store. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I buy the 750 concrete or whatever every time
Yeah,
it
I
shows
do
up in
too.
the item store, but it only shows up pretty infrequently.
Really?
So I guess
I don't. I'm sitting on like 2 mil cement.
Yeah.
'cause, like,
Same.
you got 2
'cause
mil
I haven't built
concrete?
anything.
Well,
yeah,
I
I'm
haven't
sitting on
built
anything since the
450k,
gold
dude.
rework.
Like I'm not building
I'm
anything
like
either.
1.5
So
mil.
You literally have not built a single thing.
No,
Why?
I'm not spending 2 mil on an upgrade when I can upgrade 4 freaking troops instead. Are you
But-
kidding?
Well, that's the only way to make your
Training
forge
stuff.
stronger. Besides shards.
I don't use quartz, dude.
he uses
Oh
more
my God.
Dago.
What did you
Weird.
call it?
Anyway,
Oh, God.
You slimy little Australian.
Moving on.
They fixed
Ivory,
bugs.
do you also not build anything?
No, of course I build. I'm going towards VH21 soon. But I still have like 1.5 mil wood.
Insane.
You get them at such a frequent rate. Like it's not. I
Yeah,
do
I'm building
anyway.
it.
Well, we
so
used
slow.
to. We used to. Now, because they're taking it out of Outpost, you won't get it from there anymore.
So maybe your 2 mil will become 2 over the next few days. You never know.
Well, if I ever decide to build anything again.
Oh my god.
Alrighty, moving on. Outposts with new layouts. So what that's meaning is outposts have more places where your troops can get stuck. But don't worry, we
From
fixed all the
over
old
walls?
ones. We fixed them,
Sure.
guys, just like we did last time, where we fixed them.
Yeah.
They attuned special powers. Nothing noteworthy, so why is it in the patch notes? Outposts contain more enemies that use 2 or 3 card decks. be prepared for some pretty crazy combats. Not like it couldn't just spam 600 Stingbats in the first place anyway. So that's
3D.
just
Did
fucked.
I show you that? Did I show you that screenshot?
No, you should send me that screenshot
Of
and I'll
the
put
50
it.
of the 50 Stingbats?
I'll put it in the
Oh
vid.
god.
Oh god.
What did I have it do once? I had it place down. It placed down 5 Paradise Needlers in a row.
Oh god.
This
yeah.
was ages ago, but it was
See,
so
see.
triggering because like I could have
I've
actually
had
beaten
worse
that
than that.
outpost if it wasn't for
I've
those.
had worse. I've had
Really?
the 4 Dire Horse of the Navi Apocalypse.
I mean, it's the same deal,
4
right?
Dire Horse at the
4 of
same
anything
time.
is just such a pain. Imagine that. 4 AMPs. Just
I've also had an only champion round. Back when champion was okay. Okay?
So-
Imagine fighting 18 champions
Oh
just
my
to get to the command tower. Again, there was no other towers. It was just champions. Okay? Like it was stupid.
Sacred sites. This is thank God.
Amazing.
They've just changed it now, so every time the tree is claimed, it will shorten the time that you have to for another alliance to claim that tree dynamically. So we'll see whether this works or not in the coming weeks.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be exploited.
100%.
I can already see how to exploit that.
100%.
How?
Just trade the tree back and forth right at the beginning, right? Until it
Yeah.
and get the timer all the way down.
Like UF and UNC can just sit there and go, and you take the tree, and then I take the tree, and then you take the tree, and then I take the tree. Okay, let's all jump to mid now that there's only 15 minutes on this tree.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Oh my god.
So this
I don't
could
think
be
it was very well
exploited
thought out.
quite easily by allied alliances, but we'll see whether or not they've actually thought about this or not. We'll see. This is an interesting one. They're changing the buffs, so the outer trees, I'm assuming on larger continents,
Yep.
will provide a season-long troop bonus to try and
Wow.
get the bigger alliances to go to the outside ones as well. This probably will happen, but knowing the big alliances, they're going to be able to take an outside one and then an inner one and then keep going around. We'll see if these timer changes actually changes that or not.
I feel like it could easily snowball because in the beginning of the season you get the outer trees, and then next week you get the outer trees and the inner trees because you have like just stronger troops.
Well, that's if they're
'Cause you have the
stackable,
buffs.
though. If the buffs are stackable, or if you only get one. If they're stackable, it's going to be fucked. But if you can only get like one of the buffs once, you can't just stack like for a 20 troop bonus.
The way that it says, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be like what Smurf is saying. Like they will stack, or maybe it'll buff like one unit that you use, or
If it's
like
one
you know,
unit, sure. If
give
it's all
plus
troops,
one
that's
to-
done.
Or if it's maybe it is +1 to all troops, and then that's like the 13 outer trees, not 13 outer trees, the 8 outer trees, will all give +1 level. So it's very important that as like the first sacred site, the big alliances get the outer sites, and then they'll start fighting for the centers because they don't need the outer one anymore because they already have the site or they already have that buff.
Yeah, that's what I imagine, right? Because if it doesn't stack, then it doesn't add a lot of strategy, right? Like you just get one buff, and then you're done for the
Like you would
season.
only need one tree,
Yeah,
so it wouldn't really make sense.
yeah. I wonder if it's gonna have some weird incentives where, like, okay, I don't know, let's say the trees buff one troop, right? Like this tree buffs something from the Courage deck, but that
AMP.
troop is right. So,
Oh,
but that
God.
troop is not in the Jake deck, right? So the Navis don't care about that tree. So the Navi and RTA don't actually like want to compete for the same types of buffs. But then we would compete with like say FAM for that amp tree.
Yeah.
So then it becomes like an RDA versus RDA, Navi versus Navi thing in the beginning of the season, and then it bubbles up into the center tree where we end up fighting.
Yeah, but you also like there's also gonna be like strategic points to it because like if you continuously hold that AMP tree, no one else gets the AMP buff, or like if we decide that on our server UF and TFL equally take all the outer trees and no one ever gets one, then no one else will ever get the level. Like if something happens like that,
Yeah.
where they just like strike a deal and then no one else is allowed to touch them, it's just gonna completely snowball the server, and no one else
Yeah.
will ever be able to fight for it. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree
It's
with
gonna
that.
be interesting to see.
Trials. They've changed trials and rebalanced them, and we get special pretty pictures and stuff when we defeated them. We get cave paintings and a new HUD element. Yay, cool stickers. I like them. If they're smellable ones, then brilliant. If they're not, I don't care. Rebalance stuff. You can now see how shit your alliance members are with them. You can now quit the battle. Hang on, what? A quit battle button has been added to a battle in progress. So don't worry, you could already quit the battle anyway, but we've just added an extra button for it. Quick retry is nice. That's a nice one. There have been times when I've been doing a trial and it's just fucked me over because you don't get your tower bonuses because logic. Trial shop has had a facelift. Cool. It's got some Botox. Brilliant. Enemy decks.
Unit lift?
Oh, enemy decks are actually detailed now, so that's nice instead of having to just guess. Shard level changes. This was going to come. It doesn't matter. It was going to happen at some point because 30 shards for one to unlock a thing is just too low.
One event. Yay.
So pretty much what they've done here is they've just added an extra 0 onto the end of the epic and rare requirements to unlock, and then they've doubled for common and uncommon the requirements, and instead of getting them level 1 now, you get them at level 15 and 12 for epic and rare respectively. And for troops, you unlock troops at 150 for epic, 75 for rare, 10 and 10 for uncommon and common. Now they were changing stuff with troops that already had existed unlocked. Yeah, so they're just whatever you have currently is just being made the equivalent of the new unlocks. So yeah, if you had 20 out of 150, theoretically you'll have 40 out of 150 when the servers come back on. I don't think there's a whole lot to say to this. It's just it was necessary.
If you're a new player, it's gonna take a long ass time to unlock.
Yeah.
It's gonna really new players is gonna really hurt them. Though then again, if you look at like their other game, Marvel Strike Force, it's kind of the same.
There's another reason, I think, for this, and I don't know if you guys do it, but you know those level 1 commanders that people keep using for everything?
Yes.
Yep.
This prevents you from doing that.
Yep. But now we have an advantage when
So-
you already have it.
For those,
Yeah, but we've been playing for so long that, like,
Yeah.
for
Now
those
new players can get those.
who don't know, there are current tactics, and I don't know what to call them really, where you utilize level 1 commanders to get more points in events because they way that the devs decided they'd do the math for these events. It was dumb. So you could just use level 1 commanders and get billions of points for some of these events within like 2 battles, and it was mental. It's kind of stupid, but hey, look, these were changes that needed to happen at some point. Troops and combat changes.
Oh,
They've improved the army power calculation for fairer combat, narrowed the range for battles that are considered non-trivial, despite the fact that you could start a trivial fight that would be non-trivial anyway, because I don't know what the hell their UI was doing. Yeah, here. Occasions where some trivial fights are generating combat rewards. Here we go. Improvements to combat AI. Massive, massive quotes here. Okay? Don't take this with a grain of salt. The AI uses powers more and is better at aiming them. We'll see if that's the case. The AI will prioritize responding to bigger enemy waves, especially when your towers are under attack. Finally, the amount of times
More
where the
suicidal
AI
AI.
would just be like,
Yep.
yo, one of my
Traveling.
one of my lanes is being attacked, fuck it, and it would just dump a bunch of
Yep.
shit on the other lane. And it's like, well, okay, sure.
let's hard push this lane that has nothing in it because the other lane is being attacked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So it's very easy to exploit the AI, so I think this will make it a little better. The AI will do a better job at choosing troop counters based on what his opponent currently has on the battlefield. Nothing here about placement of those troops. The amount of times where it would go, oh look, a Viper Wolf pack, I'm a counter with a Grenadier, and just dump the Grenadier in the middle of the pack,
In the middle.
and it would
Or
just
they put
instantly die.
Packs. Yeah.
Or
Around the champion.
like I guess these will be good improvements, but meh. AI
see.
is still the AI.
Yep.
Unless they literally turn this thing into a hacker, I don't think it's going to be it's going to be a nice change, but not a huge change. battle line weight adjustments across many units, which I don't think was specified in the individual units. And added a visual effect for when units were stunned, because we couldn't tell that before.
Pretty.
Now we get on to the actual individual troops. Blast Bulb. Here we go.
Rip.
Part 1 of the Garden Grove bullshit. Health decreased by 2.6%. That is pretty big. Its attack radius, when you deploy it, is now 6 tiles instead of 8. But every other subsequent attack remains at 8. And fixed a visual bug, where troops and towers were not coloured properly if they were affected. So this is an attempt to make the thing to be more skillfully used. This is not going to change shit. It's still going to be able to be dumped down and just absolutely obliterate.
Yeah.
So it's a nice thought, but I don't see it being huge.
So actually, what I see here is that if you drop it on a Ripper, the Ripper will kill it immediately.
Yes.
And it won't have any effect, or something similar along those lines.
Or it will kill it enough that it will die very shortly after.
I mean, they already do that.
Well, not really. Well, now that more commanders are buffing it, oh boy. But
Oh boy, yeah.
we'll see how this goes. I don't see it being a massive change, but it's nice that they actually have made it less of a drop and forget, and now it's just like a drop and somewhat forget.
I think it makes certain long-range units even more effective against it.
Like,
right?
yes,
with
like the missile battery and the RPG troopers.
Yeah.
Well, RPG
It's
troopers were never affected by it. It's
Yeah.
the regular
It's still
troopers,
the same.
grenadier, stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah, I wonder if the troopers can safely attack it on its first
Yep.
deploy.
well,
Yep.
the thing is, like I was noticing, the thing is with the telegraphing, because it doesn't go by just the circle AoE, it goes by tiles. The AMP would be standing outside of the telegraphed AoE, and it would still be hit.
Nah, I've never really
Yes.
trusted the telegraph.
So yeah, fix your fuck. Also, the grenadier tangent. The grenadier AoE. This dude would cross map things sometimes. Like he would. I have a clip too of it too. He aimed at a Viper Wolf den, and he hit some fucking Viper Wolf halfway across the map, attacking an AMP. And I'm like, yo.
What?
Yeah, it's actually in the highlights battle that I uploaded.